Welcome to the third round of our SimRacing Buddies Group 3 Sprint Series Championship in AMS 2 on the 1991 version of Monza for a 90-minute race. And what you see in the background is our, well, sort of messy start that we did after the first quali went completely wrong to we don't know what, but we then agreed on, well, come on, let's just pick the server, do a restart, and on that second attempt with only 5 minutes of qualifying, I ended up in P5 in the quali. 11 guys participated, but then again we lost Putch again, who had unfortunately a disconnect. Pal, you've got so much bad luck with your internet, not stability. But then finally we were on the formation lab. I was in P5 in the Porsche, of course, as we are not allowed to change cars. Here are the championship standings after round 2. I am in 6th position with 6 points, on par with Papa Putch, who, as I just said, will not participate in that race. Evil Heinz, or Yannick, is leading the championship with 18 points after a second place at South Africa, Kyalami, and a win at Jerez. Now here at Monza, yeah, that's something different, guys. Let me tell you this. The C9 and the Nissan are pretty much OP here. It's where they shine most, so to say. And for me, it was all about the right strategy and minimizing the damage. Let me put it that way. And therefore, I opted for a one-stop strategy. I knew that the Nissan and the Merc were not able to do that. So I wanted to stay out as long as I could, only come in only once, and yeah, I hoped not to lose too much time per lap. So now here we are, lining up for the start now. I'm in P5. And here we go, guys. It's green, 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 and here we go. Up to the first heartbreaking point. Whoa, tight chicanes here. I'm side by side with Ernie, who got overtaken by Riley. I backed off, didn't want to risk anything, and I knew that the C9 would be quicker anyway, so no unnecessary risk there. But I had a bad accident, and that made it possible for Yannick to overtake me on the outside again. I braked a little earlier not to collide with Yannick. Yeah, it's a long race, guys. We're only 40 seconds in and it's another 89 minutes to go. I didn't want to risk too much here. But as a consequence, I was now under pressure by Dave in another C9. And as things progressed, Dave would be my main rival in that race. I can say that already. Now with 2 laps done, things had settled a little, and we now can see that Woody is by far the fastest in the Nissan, already pulling away consistently, while Deplay is in second with roughly 6 seconds behind. And it's for sure in his rear, while I am still fighting with Dave. I had a bad exit here out of the Variante della Roggia. Dave's very close, but he also drove rather cautiously. Obviously didn't want to risk too much in there. Look at that. Oh, Yannick spun. Yannick spun in the second Lasmo. Luckily for him, he did not touch the Armcos. No damage done. He just clipped the Armco with his rear wing, he later said. But for him it is then a spin, had to wait and let everybody through. He rejoined in last in P10, which as a matter of fact put me in P5. Lap 6 and I'm still defending against Dave. Well, I began to realize that, and that was already, guys, my third track limits warning. After only 7 laps. That was a bit too much. I kept on missing the Variante del Rettifilo. That's the first one after start finish. So it's a bit too much because I obviously wanted to get away from Dave also, and therefore I took some more risks. With Yannick back in P9, having overtaken Maramek, and after only 9 laps I was already 28 seconds down on Woody. Oh, and then we have Maramek, who had already been in the pits, and obviously due to some damage he came out of the pits here and missed the second variante. He went through the sand, but luckily for us did not immediately rejoin on the track and drive into our way. Lucky for us, but again a hot moment here.
Nice one, Timo. You're looking really good. Come on, keep your
And now lap 19. That was time for the first regular pit stops. For sure, Riley in the Nissan coming in. That gave me some hope that he at least would definitely have to do 2 stops. Now I got through in P4 even. Now a minute behind and losing about 3 seconds per lap to Woody. Now I missed the second variante, now enabling Dave to finally pull a lunge at me. I let him through, of course, because that's what you do as a fair driver. If you make a mistake, don't overdo it then. Let the guy through, and he finally got me. I'm in P5 now, he's in P4. And another track limits warning. Ooh, it's the 4th one on lap 20. 3 more and I would have gotten penalties. But Dave now going deep there in the Parabolica and also coming into the pits. So he had only about half a lap there in the sun ahead of me. While I, of course, stayed out, back in P4, and I planned on at least doing 7 more laps, at least until 28, better until 29. Now, for the first time, without any pressure, Dave pitting and also even Heinz, Yannick pitting, and that was interesting to see, because Yannick, also the Porsche, was also on a 2-stop strategy then. And Woody also now on lap 21 pitting. So also he of course in the Nissan on a 2-stop strategy. But for me, Yannick would be, my prime opponent. He was on a different strategy. Having to come in a second time meant he would lose more than 30 seconds again in the pits, which I would not. So let's see how that was going to turn out. Now that play, for the first time in this race, in the lead. Woody rejoining in second, now 11 seconds behind. And Ernie in a rather solid, safe third. Lap 24. And that now meant that our new leader, Delplay,
the leader is pitting now,
was to come in for his first stop. Would it be the only one? We don't know. Woody, therefore, taking the lead again with 32 seconds over me, and now it was absolutely clear that I wouldn't have the slightest chance against Woody here, of course. But what about that play? What about Ernie? Ernie had also been in. Yeah, and at that point, approaching half distance, it looked pretty good for me, I gotta say. Around lap 25, my strategy seemed to be a winning one, at least in positions. Now in P2, if I was able to hold it together and keep up my pace somehow, this could work out actually for me. Perhaps a P4, or if some guy had a DNF, even better. Let's see. And now I had Riley in my gearbox, and of course at that stage my tires were almost gone. could really feel it. It wasn't undrivable, not to say that. The car worked pretty good, my setup was good, but I felt it, of course, especially here in the Parabolica. The grip wasn't like it was before, like it used to be in the beginning stages, and here now, no need for fighting him. I pulled over and now look at the sheer speed of the Nissan.
On your right.
Yeah,
Clear right.
no words.
Okay, Timo. Expect traffic on exit. When we exit the pits, we'll be in P8, right in front of Wood. The pit crew is ready.
Lap 28 it was then. Tires were almost gone, and unfortunately my fuel would only last for this only lap, not for another one, not for lap 29, what I had hoped for. So I chose to come in at the end of lap 28 and asking my crew to fill up the tank up to 100 liters and also give me some fresh rubber. Soft it is in my case. Now let's see what happens. I'm in P3. When I'm getting in, standing time about 40 seconds, I guess. And there they come. Ernie going through, was also on a two-stop strategy. Delplay going through. And what about Yannick? Yes, also Yannick going through, Evil Heinz, and even Dave going through. Yeah, and after 37.7 seconds, it was green again for me, rejoining in P8 only. Also Mo had overtaken me, and here with Madamek, the P10 driver, who was or had already been a couple of laps, 2 or 3 laps behind at that point. Okay, let's go down to medium to initially save some fuel, because I knew I had to make this happen for 29 laps. It would be 57 laps at least. So back in P8, and yeah, having Yannick and Dave overtaken me, that annoyed me a little. I obviously wasn't fast enough on my last laps of my first stint. I then was able to overtake Mo, who was in the pits, and was trying to get a bit closer to Dave again, who, let me repeat, was on a two-stop strategy.
Lange has retired.
And there also we had Chris CP Lange retiring, sadly. He obviously made some mistakes, which eventually led to too much damage. He retired from the race here on lap 33. So now it's only 9 more cars running. At that time I was already 1 lap down. And in total 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So pace-wise, no chance. And there on the medium setting, I drove a pretty consistent race with solid times, but just not fast enough. I was lacking 2 to 3 seconds to the fast guys here, but now here, my enemy on the track, so to say, Dave, coming in for his second and last stop, which gave me the opportunity, of course, to overtake him while he was pitting. So at least that would have worked out. That was good. And since I was only about 10-12 seconds behind him, I was able to build up a pretty big leap, about more than 20 seconds before he rejoined the track. Well, in the front, Woody drove a lonely race, but he wouldn't complain about that, of course. Huge gap to second place Ernie. Almost 1 lap at that point. It's Riley in third, and then Yannick with a super strong comeback. But at that point, only 1 stop in P4. That play 5 and me in 6. And now we had the time for the two stoppers to come in for their second stop.
Leader, Wood.
And here it is, Woody and Ernie coming in at the same time eventually. They were close to each other on the track. And as you can see, Ernie is handed through down the order to P5, still in the pits, when I approach the Parabolica. Ernie out of the pits as I'm driving alongside. There he is, going slow. And I wondered, hey, what's up, mate? Are you letting me through? No, that can't be. And as it turned out, he had mechanical problems. The clutch wouldn't work correctly, the gears wouldn't, the gearbox was damaged, and yeah, sadly for him, he had to lump around for one whole lap in low gears and yeah, low speed to bring back his car, to have it repaired in the pits, losing a lot of ground and a lot of places. Very sad for him because he was en route to podium, one has to say. But I of course wouldn't complain because I gained a place now back in P5 ahead of Dave. And with Yannick now pitting for the second time, also the chance to perhaps catch him and have a proper fight with him for the last, yeah, what will it be, 25 minutes. So Yannick in the pits for a rather short one, and let's see if it again plays out for me that I can overtake him while he is sitting there and have to wait for his tires to be changed. But sadly it did not play out. He was able to come out of the pits just 2-3 seconds in front of me. And I then knew that it would be very hard to get him because he was on fresh rubber, of course. He could drive on the high fuel mapping setting. So I did what I did, the whole race until that point when my goodness, for the first time, went too wide over the curbs there in Retifilo, lost it a little, then drove into the tire stacks, damaging my car, and then had to reverse once more to make it out of there, man. And there went my chances of putting Yannick under pressure, if that had been possible. Anyways, my chances were now completely blown. My car was damaged. Again, third race, third proper mistake, which led to damage on the car. Darn! And while I was struggling with the car to get to adapt to its new handling behavior, which of course wasn't optimal anymore, I out of the sudden had again look into the mirrors because in the background, Dave was gaining big time on me. While in front, that play came in for his very late second stop, which gave Yannick the chance to snatch him and go through into third. So it's a podium for Yannick at that point, while I was struggling with my car, and here also
All right, Timo.
finally
That's 10 minutes
letting Dave through. I mean, why not? No point in fighting him here, although he's going a bit wide, but he had the faster car and I didn't want to risk anything to throw my race away completely. So back in P6, one place worse than my starting position, but I can help it, guys. That's how it goes sometimes. But it's still more important to finish a race. You never know what's gonna happen than to throw it away too early out of frustration. So with 9 more minutes to go, I thought, hey, come on. Okay, it's P6 now, let's consolidate that place at least. Here now, yeah, the crew tells me to come in because, yeah, fuel was low. And as Woody was already through, he won that race in front of Riley and then Yannick, then it's Deadblade, Dave in P5. I was still on my last lap and yeah, you can see me going very slow here, cruising over the track with almost no throttle because I simply miscalculated my fuel and had to do the last lap with less than 3 liters. So eventually limped toward the finish with my damaged and injured car. But I gotta tell you, at least guys, in the end it's P6, that's better than a DNF or ending up outside the points. So that's okay for me, as P6 still means 3 points, 2 points for Mo in 7th and 1 point for Ernie. Madamek with a couple of pit stops and I guess some damage in 9th, while Woody, well, a super dominant winner of that race, ahead of Riley. Then it's Yannick in P3. I think that's really the best he could have made after his initial spin. In P4 it's Deadplay, in P5 Dave, and as I said, in P6 it's me. Regarding the overall championship standings after round 3, it's now Yannick with 24 points, maintaining his lead here. In P2 it's Riley with 21, then it's Woody with 13, Isap with 10. Isap won the first race but did not participate in the other 2. Also a very fast driver in the C9. In P5 it's Ernie with 10 points. In P6 it's me with 9. In P7 it's Deadplay, also with 9. Then it's Dave with 7, Papa Patch with 6 points. So much bad luck for him. A P3 in the first race and then 2 did not start or had to retire races because of his failing internet connection. In P10 it's Mo with 3 points, P11 Mixa, and P12 it's Fanatics. Next race it's gonna be Spa in Belgium, of course, in 2 weeks time, and there again, at least I hope, the Porsche should be again a bit more competitive compared to the Nissan and the C9. At least I will make sure that I'm picking the right strategy for that one then. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy your day, happy racing, and see you on the next one. Bye.